What makes a good Minecraft starter house? Arguably, I would disagree with the notion that it's very much just what makes a good Minecraft build, because a starter house, you have so much more limited options when it comes to building blocks, and I'd argue time, depending on when you're setting it up. And I don't think it should take you days or weeks to just build your starter house, because again, it's a starter house. If you want to just skip the starter house stage, I completely get that, and I've done that before myself. But I think if you're trying to establish a starter house, there's a couple of rules that you need to follow. A big one I'd say is sacrificing creativity, just because that's how it's supposed to look. Like this roof right here, while that is a standard Minecraft roof, it does not work on the size of this house, which makes sense because it's smaller. So instead I opt for a double slab approach, which does bring down the profile of the house, slims it up real nice, but also is cheaper, which is a huge thing I thought about while building this, is a simple but nice palette. I don't know if I'd use stone bricks for this. I feel like cobblestone would work pretty well, but if you want to sink more time into it, I definitely use stone bricks for the roof and cobble for the detailing. If you are entirely new to, I guess, aesthetic building, the overhang might be a bit of a new thing to you. Basically, you just extend the roof out by one block. It gives a nice dimension. You do that in all directions. And right here, I add some extra ones, just at the corners of the roof, and it just helps kind of draw it all together. So here I start adding roofing to like the extra pin I added. This is a good way to break up the look of your house, because having just a square like house like that isn't what you really want. It's boring, and the roof helps with that a lot, but I'd say the main thing would be adding more shape to that. And I think the thing that achieves that best would be something like that. Here you can see me just adding a bit more detail outside. We'll come back to the exterior and add more functional designs, but right now I'm just kind of going for what I think looks best. The stair trick is something that is used a lot. I don't know why. I don't think it really has any real life implications, but it's just one of the things that is like, yeah, that is how it is with Minecraft building. So it just depends on what you like best. Here you can see me going around and adding some of the framing. Most of the time people do this at the start of the build to define like their height and their width, but I kind of usually start with the floor. I think that just gives the best idea of what the build's gonna look like, but you can start with whatever you want, of course. Here you can see me using different options for the coloring under the roof. Usually people would do like a cobblestone, but I am a big fan of the wool most of the time, although I don't think it works well in this build, so I just go back to the wood. Right now I'm just adding some extra detailing to the pathing in the exterior. Podzol is pretty hard to get if you're not next to a like super taiga, I think it's called. But again, that's just personal preference. You don't have to go out of your way to get that, obviously. The pathing works just fine. And if you want a cheaper solution, just use coarse dirt. Like, that's only gravel and dirt, so that one's pretty achievable early game. Here, I'm just selecting flowers and foliage. Bushes are really easy. Vines can be, if you're next to a swamp biome, and I think some caves. And again, as soon as you get one vine, you can just wait for the rest to grow. So vines are nice like that. But I'm just adding some flowers and some leaves to create bushes. You want variety when you're going for a bush. You don't want just one type of tree leaves. So usually I use birch and oak, just because I think that gives a nice one, but spruce is also really nice to use. You can see me just defining the build a bit more, adding some of the fencing that I think would look nice. Again, most of it's down to personal preference, and if you think it's worth the amount of time you're putting in to make it look good, because I think most of the time I would have skipped the fencing just because of how annoying fences are to build. Here you can see me add the vine, and by the end of this it'll be like down the side of the house, so just keep your eye on that because it's pretty funny to watch. Now we move to the inside of the house. I've set up a basic kind of standard Minecraft setup. If you do enjoy that, because I do personally, I don't think there's a need for like super fancy decor, especially in a starter base, but I do it anyways for this video, just to show you some designs that I've thought of. Here you can see me putting the furnaces in the wall. That's a trick I use all the time. Sometimes I do it with the floor, depending on the size of the house, but this one's pretty sizable, so I get away with it nice. I move the beds over to the corner, because that gives me more space for actual stuff. Here you can see me building a dresser style design. I like it personally. I don't know if I've ever used it in survival before, but it's a nice use of space that looks pleasant. I decided to switch the chests out for bookshelves. I just think it looks nicer, and since the full block, the armor stand sits on it better. But a chest works great with this design, and is perfectly functional. I decided to throw a chest under the bed. It's out of the way, it's convenient, it's good for storing bulk items, and it's not in the way, like more so the dresser design is. But I imagine that would be used for sorted items like drops, or building blocks, or even valuables. I have an empty spot in the wall here, so I fill that in. I filled it in a couple times, just looking for a thing that I think looks best. You saw I threw the crafting table on the wall. That's going to be a workbench later, and we're going to have to patch up that from the outside, which you will see. I decided to use brick for the table. You can get away with wood. I just choose it because it adds some color to the room. See me adding some of my new favorite blocks, the bookshelves, these kinds of bookshelves. I think you would use these for storing your enchanted stuff, or just normal books, just whatever's convenient to you, really. Here you can see me putting in an overhead light. I just think this looks nicer than torches on the walls. It's a bit more expensive though, because you've had to have been to the nether, so that one's up to personal preference. You'll see me also use lanterns, especially outside in the later part of the video, and candles inside, which do work pretty well. Although the light level they get off is not the best, so you would probably have to complement it with some torches. First thing I do, take a look around outside, see if there's anything I missed, any blocks I need to cover. Most obvious one's the crafting table and the bookshelves, but I already had the furnaces covered, which was good. Pretty much I just covered up with a beehive and composters. It gives a nice look, and it's functional too. Start by adding some farmland. See me fly around again. See the vines I mentioned. They've grown quite a bit. This is a simple trick I like to do. Just throw whatever bamboo you find at the back of the house. There's probably ways you could integrate this into a house design, but I haven't found any good ones yet. And they work pretty well as long as you throw them in the back and keep them trimmed down. Here you can see me placing some lanterns around, trying some fence designs. Do keep in mind, the higher the lantern is, the less of the area around it's going to prevent from mobs to spawn. Here's a really simple trick you can do to light the area around your base to prevent mobs from spawning. It's a torch and then cover that with moss carpet to make it look like overgrown grass. If you bone mill the grass around it, that helps a lot to sell the just overgrown look of it. But even without that, it looks pretty natural. You can see me get rid of some of the lights, the taller up ones like I mentioned, and I place some stone buttons around to act as rocks. And yeah, that's some pretty simple outdoor design. Most of it is functional. Here you can see me trying a bush, but I don't really like it that much. And yeah, I'd say this house is complete. So if you did enjoy this video, please like and subscribe. It's a big help, especially the smaller channels like me. Pushes us into the YouTube algorithm a lot more. If you didn't really enjoy the video, please leave any feedback in the comments below. I'd like to know how to improve this styling of video, because I do hope to make at least a couple more. And if you just like my personality, there's a lot of other videos that you can watch on my channel. And yeah, I do hope you enjoyed. Have a good day.